What is going on, everybody? Voidlego here, back for a brand new episode of Higurashi When They Cry. Last time on, we went to school, but Sadako was missing and Rika wouldn't say anything about it. And also, Oshi showed up for the first time, and he was a lot more aggressive than the other times we have met him. We also found out that the rumors are that Oshi is Oshiro-sama's servant, in which put him in a totally different light for me at least, and brought up the possibility that he could be the one behind these murders, trying to pin the Sonozaki family for their Yakuza troubles. So, let's look at the tips. Research notes. Okay, let's read these. The Hojo family. Every year, Oshiro-sama's curse claims 2 victims. This means that with 4 years in a row, there have been 8 now, but it's worthwhile to note half of them have been members of this family. Really? Note the curse in the second year, a certain following incident involved the death of a Hojo, a dam proponent, and the disappearance of his wife. She was pronounced dead the following year after being considered to have vanished under precarious circumstances. The curse in the 4th year involved the death of the Hojo siblings' aunt, who was then their foster mother, and the disappearance of their elder brother. The Hojo family is a poor one, and it's hard to say Mr. Hojo's job went very well. Apparently, upon reemployment via family connections, there was a plan for them to return to the home of the mother's side of the family. For Mr. Hojo, the eviction due to the Himazawa Dam project and the payment of a large amount of compensation money was essentially a windfall. Mr. Hojo actively embraced administrative constructions and negotiations from an early stage and was selected as representative of the dam proponents. It was rumored he had been bought out by the Ministry of Construction for doing so, but the truth is unknown. However, the dam's proponents were in the vastly outnumbered minority. In addition, as the Sonozaki family strengthened its own foundations and promised support against the dam, all of the proponents, save for Mr. Hojo, switched over to the anti-dam side. At this point, Himazawa was completely united against the dam, and Mr. Hojo was held up to ridicule as a stooge of the dam project proponents. He was essentially used as a scapegoat for this anti-dam coalition. In the end, the dam project collapsed with Oshiro-sama's curse and the dismemberment incident. However, punishment towards the bitter enemies supporting the dam project continues to this day. There are not many left today who supported the dam project nor who had a negative reputation at the time. If there were any candidates left for the curse, it's the husband of the housewife who was beaten to death last year, Tepai Hojo, and Mr. Hojo's daughter, Sadako Hojo. Strangely, these two are the only candidates left. Will this year's curse come down to the 2 of them? There's more than enough value in observing them both. Well, if they were hunting down the Hojo family, then why didn't they do it in any other timeline? Or maybe they were busy because they broke into the storehouse first, and that was more of a threat than the Hojo family. Oshiro's post memo. Oshi's. To Oshi-san. There was a call for you from Section 4's Chief Shigaru. Apparently the slaughtered corpse in the Kojiwa-ki Japanese river is related to the S group, as we thought. We're still verifying what happened behind the scenes, but apparently the deceased filled up dozens of self-created fictional bank accounts to their limits with money from the S group, reaching around 100 million yen. Yeah, definitely a reason to die. It appears there was 3 or 4 men with former S group connections involved in this. They've already disappeared along with millions of yen. The deceased was tortured on that point for information, and she was clearly slaughtered as an example to others. Makes sense. There are apparently some wheel lizards chasing down the people who disappeared. They've also been spreading letters to related Yakuza groups not to harbor them. There's still no evidence that Teppei Hojo is one of those people. As far as Chief Shigaru can tell, he hasn't been told anything. He was her pimp, but she didn't trust him at all, did she? Teppei Hojo has left the apartment in Okayama and has returned to his former residence in Himazawa. Really? Oh boy. Oh, shit. Oh, shit, is that why Sadako wasn't there? Oh, shit. Okay. Oh, shit, okay, that's not good. Okay, oh, shit, okay, let's go. Okay, so he's in him.
守りたいと思う心に 嘘はなかった。大切にしたいと思う心は誰よりも強いはずだった。優しさから生まれた感情はやがて殺意へと変わり、真っ白だった思いは赤と黒で染まってゆく。それが守りたかった日常の崩壊を意味していると分かっていながら、たたり殺し。何が間違っていたのか、その答えを探して悲劇はさらに広がってゆく。
That thing again.
北条さんは今日もお休みですか？
That thing again. The only other time we saw it was back in chapter 1 after the Wanakagashi. Who the hell is that? I wanted to say that voice sounded like Lena's, but, you know, I'm not native Japanese speaker. Could be someone else. But it probably is someone else. But what the hell does that mean?
古出さんは何か知っていますか？
The teacher's voice wasn't critical, but Wika-chan hung her head, unable to answer, and I felt really bad for her. The teacher called Wika-chan up, and they had an exchange in hushed tones at the dials. At first, Wika-chan said that Sadako's fever had grown worse, but everyone in the class knew it was a lie. Because every day, Wika-chan brought Sadako's bento with her.
さとこちゃん、どうしちゃったんだろうね。
俺が知るかよ。
I'm the one who wants to know most of all. It was already the third day since Sadako's first absence. Ever since then, I haven't felt good. Until just last Sunday, everything had been so much fun. I had reached out to Sadako like a real older brother, and we spent that time quietly but warm and comfortable. So why had it suddenly been flipped over? The more I thought about it, the more I thought that the world had taken a turn for the worse ever since Oshi arrived. Thinking on it now, maybe the strange apprehensions plaguing me the night before Oshi arrived had been a sign. Kurado Oshi, Oshiro-sama's servant.
そんなことあるもんか。あいつが現れたから、聡子が今年のたたりに合う役だなんて決められてたまるかよ。
Just what sort of slip-off had I committed to cause those fun times to end so suddenly? Yes, it was the day before she appeared. Shion, Mion, and Lena had spoken of the curse surrounding Satoshi and his disappearance, and it was so sinister it gave me a bad premonition. Such a small thing was a slip-off that invited Oshiro-sama's servant? It was absurd. I kept on groaning to myself that I would never accept it, ever. I obviously wasn't the only one suppressing my feelings. Mion and Lena were too. Everyone in the class was doing it. Wika-chan knew something about Sadako's situation, but she wouldn't tell us. Wika-chan still held a calm attitude like a cat basking in the sun, but she was being unbelievably stubborn about this whole thing. She didn't want to tell us, and that wouldn't change no matter how many times we asked her. Everyone understood that, so nobody questioned her.
リカちゃんが言わないならさ、言うまで待つしかないよね。逆に言わないってことは言う必要もない程度のことかもしれないし。
There was no pervasive power and reassurance given with an anxious face like that. Mion was being taciturn and just looked up at the sky with a somehow annoyed expression. I couldn't tell if she was unhappy that Wika-chan wouldn't talk about it with her own friends, or if she was concerned over Sadako's well-being. And what about me? My anxiety was suffocating me, day after day. If someone else were looking at me, then maybe I'd look annoyed like Mion did. Tap, tap. Someone tapped my shoulder. It was Tomoku-kun no Okuma-kun.
前原さん、ちょっといいですか？
またボールが引っかかったか？今度はお前たちで何とかしてみろよ。いつまでも先輩に頼るのは良くないぜ。
I didn't feel like going along with them, so I was a little unsympathetic with my response.
ちょっと気になる噂を聞いたんすよ。
Rumor?
噂？
はい。ひょっとすると関係があるかもと思って。
Do with what? A rumor about Sadako. They hadn't said that, but it didn't seem unrelated. They didn't want to talk in the classroom, so they pulled me behind the school building, lending further credence to their thought. The back of the school was damp and humid like always. Students didn't really come back here because they wanted to. It might, however, have been the ideal location for turning rumors away from prying eyes.
富田君、岡村君、その噂話ってもちろん聡子の欠席と関係のある話なんだろうな。
関係があるかはわからないですけど、あるいは
聡子は一体どうしたってんだ？風邪なのか？それともひょっとしてもっと重い病気か怪我か何かで？
いえ、それがむしろ逆で、うちのばあちゃんの話だと
Opposite.
昨日の昼にうちの店に豆腐を買いに来たらしいんです。
Oh, Tomoka's family wants a tofu shop at Okamakun.
豆腐屋さんに買い物？
Did Tenchi or Tenyu you take her from Wika? It's the only explanation for it. My voice sounded so stupefied even I could tell. It was understandable. I was worried about what grave illness or injury she had when the person herself had been out and about shopping for tofu.
で、聡子はどうだったんだよ？元気そうだったのか？それとも病み上がりでマスクでもしてたとか、松葉杖で包帯だらけだったとか？
いえ、別に病気とか怪我とかそういうわけじゃなかったらしいんですが。
I should have felt relieved that it wasn't an illness or an injury, but my anxiety wasn't going away, because Tomoka-kun and Okuma-kun's expressions weren't working any better.
絹ごし豆腐を一丁買っていったそうなんですが、ばあちゃんが言うにはおかしいと。
Strange
お
how.
かしい？なぜ？絹ごし豆腐を買って何が悪い？
Irritated by how roundabout they were being, I had to desperately fight that irritation from creeping into my voice.
北条とフルデってほら二人暮らしでそんなにお金持ちってわけじゃないですよね。だから二人はいつも安い木綿豆腐しか買わないんです。
Huh.
一番高い絹ごし豆腐なんか買ったことないんです。
木綿だって絹ごしだってどっちも豆腐だろ？たまにはうまい豆腐が食いたくなっただけかもしれないじゃないか。
それはそうですけど。
I knew how transparent I sounded right then. This wasn't anything trivial. It was some kind of important clue. Not the cheap firm tofu, but the expensive soft kind. Shopping not in the evening after school, but in the middle of the day. I couldn't figure out what those things meant. As I thought hard about it, Okuma-kun took his turn to speak.
次は僕っすね。これも噂なんですけど、帰ってきたらしいんですよ。
帰ってきた？何が？誰が？
北条のおじさんが。
Sadako's uncle. Right. I think Coach told me about him. Their aunt and uncle had taken them after Sadako and Satoshi lost their parents in the accident.
去年のお社様のたたりで怖くなって町に逃げたっていう北条のおじさんです。こいつヤクザみたいな怖くて乱暴なやつで。
Shit. Everything Coach told me came back in bits and pieces. Right. The mean aunt and uncle had tormented them all the time. I think he said that after their aunt was beaten to death by the deviant, he ran away to his lover's house in Okuyama in fear of the curse.
そいつが帰ってくるとどうして聡子が学校を休んで真っ昼間に絹ごし豆腐を買う羽目になるんだ？
I think her uncle took her. I don't know why, but... I and her classmen climbed up and looked downwards. There must have been some big hint buried in there. Even if I didn't understand, if I told me on a run about it, maybe they know something.
あ、ごめんな、二人とも。せっかく好意で話を聞かせてくれたのに、なんだか問い詰めるような言い方になっちゃって。
あ、いえ、いいっすよ。北条が重病で寝たきりになってないことが分かっただけでも、ほら、儲けもんじゃないですか。
That might be true, but it still won't... It won't make the clouds over my mind fade away.
あ、前原さん、ほらあれ。
Okama-kun cried wildly, pointing over my shoulders behind me. Startled, I turned around, and way on the other side of the schoolyard, near the school gate, I saw a figure trudging forth. Ah! Oh, shit!
北条だ。
She doesn't look great. I burst into a run faster than I could speak, so that as quickly as possible I could see with my own eyes that she was okay.
スタートゴー!
Sadako seemed taken aback by me shouting, running over to her.
何ですの圭一さん。突然大声を出して走ってくるから何事かと驚きましたわ。
バカ！俺のことなんかどうでもいいだろう。それよりどうしたってんだよ、サトコ。3日間も。俺心配で心配で。
心配性ですわね。たかだか3日ですわよ。もう圭一さんは心配性なんですから。
From listening to her, she seemed like the normal Sadako, but I could tell she was cruelly acting strangely. Her smile was somehow forlorn, and her complexion was bad for some reason.
北条。
That, and before she had this vacant deadness in her eyes.
大丈夫だったのかよ。風邪とかじゃないのか。
Tomoko-kun and Okuma-kun both expressed their concerns.
一体どうしたってんだよ。3日も。俺がどれだけ心配してたか。
ごめんあそばせですわ。ちょっとお家のお掃除をしたりしてたんですのよ。だいぶ長いこと使ってませんでしたから、もう家中ホコリだらけでして。
はあ？サトコ、お前何を言ってんだ？
Can't be their house.
なんで家の掃除なんかで学校を休まなきゃなんないんだ？
Rena's and... No, not Rena, because Sadako's. Sadako didn't answer me, said she passed by me and headed for the entrance.
もう今はお弁当の時間ではありませんの？私はお腹が空いてますのよ。
It was certainly lunch break. Couldn't force her to stop after she told me she wanted lunch and she was so hungry.
まあいいや。リカちゃんは3日間毎日お前の弁当を持ってきてくれてるんだぜ。今日はちゃんと食べてやれそうだな。とにかく早く教室へ行こう。みんなを安心させてやろうぜ。
そうですわね。皆さんにご心配をおかけしてしまったかもしれませんわね。あはははは。人気者は辛いでございますわ。
I put a hand on Sadako's shoulder and we ran to the classroom together. Of course, I was able to verify that Sadako looked somehow weak. All this anxiety was supposed to go away when I saw her again. That's what I had thought. But now I actually started to have quite different fears. What the heck happened, Sadako? Everyone in the class, of course, reacted in the same exact way I had. We worried about you. I'm glad to see you well. What were you doing for 3 days? Her classmates showered her in questions.
本当にご迷惑をおかけしましたわね。あはははは。
As she cackled, she chowed down on the bento Rika-chan had made for her. Those in the teacher's lounge must have been informed of Sadako's arrival because their teacher sprinted into the classroom, her braving ragged.
北条さん。
あら先生、3日間もご心配をおかけしましたわね。あはははは。ご覧の通り元気でピンピンしてますわ。
もう本当に心配してたんですからね。お弁当が食べ終わったら職員室に来るんですよ。いろいろとお話があります。
3日もサボったからきっと大目玉に違いありませんわね。
Sadako laughed sheepishly while scratching her head, and the rest of the class burst out into laughter. Teacher was acting angry, but she breathed a sigh of relief at seeing Sadako healthy and smiling as she ate her lunch with the class surrounding her.
でも安心したよな、レナ。
あ、ごめん。無事でよかったよね。
They looked at Lena and knew. She had a sense that something about Sadako was off too. I looked to see Mion detached from the clamor as well, with a somewhat grim expression. But Rika-chan, on the other hand, was smiling from ear to ear. She spread out the bento boxes one by one as Sadako finished them. Finally, Sadako was satisfied, and after enjoying a thorough conversation with her classmates, remembered that she'd been called to the teacher's lounge.
めんどくさいんですけど、行かないともっと怒られてしまいそうですからね。僕も一緒に行きますですよ。
Sadako rises from her seat, and Rika-chan runs over to her.
ごめん遊ばせ圭一さん。ちょっと怒られてまいりますわ。
おう。なんだったら俺も一緒に付き合うぜ。例のカレーの悪口の時、一緒に職員室で怒られた仲じゃねえか。
それには及ばないのです。圭一はここでお留守番なのですよ。
Rika-chan's words were gentle, but the firm rejection was clear in their eyes. Two of them exited into the hallway, walking shoulder to shoulder. After seeing them off, the class breathed a collective sigh of relief, broke apart, and went back to their usual lunch break banter. We, however, couldn't go back to how we usually were. Not I, not Mion, and of course not Rena. They stared at the classroom exit Sadako and Rika-chan had left for their expressions a little distant and grim.
俺たちは仲間だ。そうだろう、みんな。
I blurted out something strange, so Mion and Lena turned around with dubious expressions.
俺は仲間に隠し事はしない。だから、さっき聞いたばかりのことを言う。
I told them the stories I heard from Tomoya-kun and Okuma-kun earlier about the tofu shop and how Sadako's uncle had apparently come back, all at once without letting them speak.
これが俺の知るすべてだ。だからミオンもレナもしていることがあるなら話してくれ。俺は俺の知るすべてを話したぞ。
I ended my sentence firmly and looked into Mion and Lena's eyes in turn. Lena stared right back at me. Her eyes didn't falter. Without even opening her mouth, I could tell she wasn't hiding anything. Then our gazes turned to Mion.
別に私は隠して黙ってるわけじゃないよ。
Mion couldn't seem to endure our silent stares and began to talk timidly as if she was guilty of something.
でもケイちゃんが話したなら私も話さないわけにはいかないよね。
Talk about it.
みーちゃん、何か知ってるの？
いや、聡子のおじが帰ってきたっての。この間の日曜日にふらっとひなみ沢に帰ってきたって。
Really?
どうしてそれを黙ってた？
ごめん。
My angry shout caused Mion to flinch away, look down, and hang her head uncomfortably.
圭一くん、怒るようなことじゃないよ。みーちゃん怖がってる。
あ、ごめん。つい大声を。
I lowered my head in apology. Mion accepted it, collected herself, and continued. According to her, her uncle's relationship with his lover, whom he had been with in Okayama, had collapsed. Without anywhere to go, he went back home to Hinazawa. Of course, she would just say that, not that she was murdered. And on that Sunday, the day of the barbecue, her uncle ran into Sadako and brought her back to the house. Fuck.
自宅になんで連れ戻すんだよ。
ろくでなしの怠け者だからね。自分一人じゃ炊事はおろか掃除一つできないし。
そんな炊事やお掃除のためにさとこちゃんを連れ戻したっていうの？
I remembered that she said she had been cleaning the house when I met her back at the school gate. A moment later, the pieces fell into place, into the jigsaw puzzle of unease. And as for what the puzzle depicted, when I saw it from afar, I could see the answer clearly. That son of a bitch.
さとこが家に閉じ込められて、いじめられながら家事をやらされてるっていう噂なんだよ。
If you knew that, why didn't you speak up? No, I yelled at Anea, but hastily stopped myself.
みーちゃん、それ本当なの？
私がこの目で確かめたわけじゃないから本当かどうかは知らないけど。
Mian looked down again, staring at the floor, grew quiet.
去年みたいに意地悪なおじさん夫婦のところで暮らしてた時みたいに？
でもさ、そのおじさんって家事はからっきしなんだろ。さとこが重宝なわけだから何もひどい扱いをしているってわけじゃないかもしれないだろ。
圭一君、何を根拠に言ってるのか知らないけど、いい加減なことは言わない方がいいよ。
Glenna Quill indirectly got mad at me. You don't know much about this, so don't talk as though you do. Yes, that's clearly what she meant.
じゃあレナは知ってるのかよ。
私だって知らないよ。今ここで聞くまでさとこちゃんがおじさんの家に連れ戻されたなんて知らなかったもの。でもね、1年前とはまるで状況が違うの。
状況が違うってどういうことだよ。
Oh, so because of the aunt?
サトシ君がいない。
Motherfucker.
サトシはすごく妹思いのいい兄だったんだよ。いつもサトコをかばってた。意地悪なおじおばのとばっちりが少しでもサトコにかぶらないように盾になってくれてた。
家には意地悪なおじさんとサトコちゃんが2人きりなんだよ。
God awful.
それがどれだけ行き詰まるものか、圭一君にだって想像がつくんじゃないかな。ひなみ沢に帰ってきた理由だって一緒に暮らしてた相手が失踪して生活できなくなったからでしょ。そんな不愉快な理由で帰ってきた人がどうしてさとこちゃんに優しくできるっていうの？
She was right. It wasn't easy for me to imagine Sadako not being tormented.
ごめん。
あ、こっちこそごめん。問い詰めるような口調になっちゃったね。
An awkward atmosphere had floated among us. The three of us remained silent and just stared at the floor. Finally, we heard the principal's bell ringing. She came back with Sadako and Wika-chan at her side.
さあさあ、午後の授業を始めますよ。委員長、
号令起立。
ごめんなさいね。失礼失礼。
That was interesting face from Rika. I couldn't read anything from Sadako's vaguely sheepish expression, but given the crowded look Rika-chan was wearing behind her, it was tough to laugh off the discrediting story I'd heard from Mion.
Yosh! 久々に全メンバーが揃ったからね。久しぶりにパーッと大部活で盛り上がろうじゃないの。
Yeah, perfect. Indeed, in times like these, the best thing to do was obviously get rowdy and scheme against one another in a club activity.
望むところだよ。ねえ、さとこちゃん。やろやろ。
さとこが好きだったゲームあるでしょ。ほら、なんだったっけ。なんでも構わないよ。言ってみ。言ってみ。
Mion laughed happily, took a bunch of games out of the club locker, and lined them up on the desk. I think that was the first time Mion ever wet someone else's side in the game for her. I could tell she was being especially considerate to Sadako, thinking that whatever her circumstances, if we could just enjoy our time together as a group, that might be some comfort, some diversion. Sadako seemed to understand her feelings too, and smiled vaguely, though pleased. But her head slowly moved from side to side.
ありがたいですけど、お気持ちだけで結構ですわ。いろいろしなければならないことがありますので。
Even Rika-chan hung her head in remorse.
おいおいおいおいおい、本気なわけ？部活メンバーが久しぶりに揃ったってのにお流れになっちゃうわけ？敵前逃亡は罰ゲームってのは快速第何条だったっけ？
やめなよ、みーちゃん。無理に付き合わせちゃダメだよ。
別におじさんは無理強いしてるわけじゃないよ。ただ大盛り上がりした方が絶対に楽しいと思って。
本当にお気持ちだけで嬉しいんですのよ。ご安心なさいませ。次に戦うときは皆さんまとめてでっかい罠にはめてご覧に入れますわ。
Sadako, while insulting us, still said she couldn't participate in the club today and apologized. She just quickly put her things into her bag and powdered out into the hallway, disappearing. It all happened in the blink of an eye.
さとこ。
Rika-chan stared once and away as her friend hurried home, unable to be part of club activities. Silence filled the classroom. Both the cheerful voices of her classmates in the schoolyard and the voices of the cicadas sounded like they were coming in from some faraway world.
つまんないの？
The silence was broken by Mion's bitterness as she began putting the games on the desk back into the locker. Everyone just stared absently at the Sadako's seat, now empty.
リカちゃん、そろそろ話してくれてもいいんじゃないかな。
Rena made as gentle a smile as she possibly could and spoke softly to Rika-chan. Even without hearing it from her, we pretty much knew the situation at this point. Sadako's uncle had broken up with his lover and come back home to Himizawa, and he had taken Sadako back home and forced her to do all the household work, and that all had to be pretty rough on her. Thinking this was common knowledge to everyone, I skipped to the important part.
どうなんだ？
Maybe Mion and Rena wanted to ask the same question. Nobody spoke. We all just stared, waiting for Rika-chan's reply. Rika-chan still didn't answer us. We were hoping for her to say no, but her silence was a bad enough sign.
去年だっけ、おじ夫婦の元にいた時もこんな状況だったんだろ
うん。あの時は夫婦喧嘩のとばっちりみたいなのがほとんどだったからさ。こうして部活で時間を潰して家にいる時間を極力減らすのも一つの手だったんだけど、今は家事を強制されてるから学校に残ることもできないんだね。
Jesus. Shit. Sadako's not a slave. Who do you think you are, ignoring your own inability to live properly and basically putting Sadako under house arrest?
常識的に考えてこんなのおかしいんじゃねえのか。いろいろと状況証拠は必要だろうけど、こういうのって問題だろ。警察とかに通報できないのかよ。
そうだよね。証拠とかがあれば警察に通報できると思うよ。あるいはそういうのって沖宮の相談所の人とかに相談できないの？
Lena and I kept saying police, police as though it were nothing, but Mion's response sounded like she thought we were a little naive.
みんな簡単に言ってくれるけどさ、それを立証するリスクを考えたことある？
リスクってなんだよ。
一昨年の冬かな。通報したんだよ、沖宮の相談所に。
Well,
問題があるからすぐに何とかしてくれって。
そうだったんだ。それで？
電話してすぐに職員の人が来てくれたよ。で、聡子とか聡とかに事情聴取してた。ついでにおじ夫婦のところにもね。
聡子と聡に聞くまではいいが、おじ夫婦にまで聞くのはまずいんじゃないのか。
両者の意見を聞いて総合的に判断するんだとさ。
amigos.
ご立派ご立派。
で、結果はどうだったの？
様子見。
様子見っ
We
て
didn't see.
なんだよそれ。
おじさんとっても勉強になっちゃったんだけどさ、法律ではね、暴行か育児放棄が認められなきゃ虐待とは言わないんだってさ。聡子も聡もよく小づかれてたらしいけど、別に傷跡が残るようなレベルじゃなかったし、
God damn it.
3食の飯も一応食えてたし、寝床もあったし、心理的害傷を与える言動だって別にカセットテープで証拠があったわけじゃないし、実際村の人たちだって実際に乱暴してる現場は見たことないからね。いくら意地悪だからって人前で乱暴はしないでしょ、誰だって。
で、その後どうなったの？
しばらくは毎週決まった日に担当の職員さんが訪問してたみたい。おじ夫婦も自分たちが見張られてることを気にして目立つ行動はしなくなったらしいけど、
Of course.
それで済むわけないでしょ普通。
より陰湿ないじめ方に加速していったってことだね。
Mion sighed and nodded.
おばのやつが特にねちっこくってさ、女特有の陰湿さっていうのかな。相当いやらしいことをしてたらしいよ。聡子、最後の方は呼吸するだけのボロ人形みたいだった。
Oh, that fucking bitch. So what? From that conclusion, does that mean they never should have contacted child welfare in the first place?
わかった？誰の目にも明らかな虐待の証拠がなかったらお手上げなんだよ。
Yeah. Till it's already too late. It's just... It's fucked.
むしろ状況を悪化させかねない。あれは失敗だった。
After hearing that, even public organizations, the one thing they thought was dependable, couldn't do anything. Everyone hung their heads.
つまり誰の目にも明らかな虐待の証拠が見つかるまで通報すべきでないってことなんだね。
うん。まあそういうこと。
They considered Sadako's current situation. She was brought back to her house. It was a little difficult to call that abuse. She was being tormented and forced to do the chores. How she was being tormented would be the key, but without concrete evidence it would be difficult to prove. She had some kind of external injury that would work, but as far as we could tell from today, she had nothing like that. And being forced to do the chores, that was a bit weak too. There had to be better evidence that she was, without a doubt, being abused. I know. Her uncle ignored Sadako's existence for a whole year and went to live with his lover in town. Didn't that fall under one of the definitions of abuse that Mion had mentioned? Child neglect?
うん。それは立派な育児放棄だね。
I mean, yeah.
どうなのみーちゃん。
The guardian left town, pretty much.
おじが今もいなければ育児放棄は認定されそうだけど、今この瞬間は同居してるわけでしょ。
Oh, you have got to be kidding me.
今までは別居だったけど、心を入れ替えて同居することにしたなんて言われたら、また様子見なんてことになりかねないよ。
God damn it. Once we reported it, we would need to be absolutely sure they interpreted it as abuse. Maybe we needed far more concrete evidence lest we repeat last year's mistake.
なんだか悲しい。ということはつまりしばらくは黙って見てろってことなんだよね。
The only plan I could think of was, in the end, just watching and waiting. It left me in shock when I realized it would be the same policy as that of the officials who had made the situation worse. As Mion said, reporting it to a public agency would be a gamble. If we were going to pick a fight, it would have to be one we couldn't afford to lose. If we were gambling without enough money, without enough evidence, our defeat would be assured. If we took the time to amass enough money that we could be sure of victory, then that would mean pretending we didn't see Sadako's plight for a considerable amount of time.
こんなところで話を振ってごめんな。リカちゃんはどうして一人暮らしができるんだ？
Rika-chan had lost her parents, if I recall correctly. From what I heard, she had no relatives either. She was forced to live on her own as a result, but her life was unfettered, free of restriction. She could somehow grant that freedom to Sadako too.
ほら、リカちゃんって両親いないのに生活してるだろ。保護者のいない子供って施設みたいなところに入れられちゃうんじゃないっけ？
Yeah, like an orphanage.
ケイチ君、それひどい。
悪口で言ってるんじゃねえよ。そこに貞子を救うヒントがあるかもしれないと思って聞いてみただけなんだ。リカちゃん、気分を害したならごめんな。
Rika-chan shook her head, not particularly disturbed.
それはですね、実は村長さんちの子供になっているからなのです。
Oh, so the mayor took you as the guardian. Okay.
補足がいるね。村長の君吉のおじいちゃんがリカちゃんの保護者なんだよ。
Okay, now that makes one more sense, and that explains the relationship back in chapter 2 a lot better.
ちゃんと県知事の許可を得た正式な。
へえ、養子みたいなものか？
養子とは違う。別に籍を入れなくても保護者にはなれるんだよ。
分かってきた。つまりリカちゃんは普通に暮らしてるけど、法律の上では村長さんの家に住んでることになってるんだね。
まあそんなとこ。そのおかげでリカちゃんは保護者から離れての生活を認められているってわけ。
Bit of a legal loophole.
サトコはそこに居候してるってことになるけどね。
難しいことはよくわかりませんが、つまりはそういうことなのです。
ミオ、今興味深いことを言ったな。席が違っても保護者になれるみたいなことを言ったよな。じゃあ形だけでも村長さんとかがサトコの保護者になってくれればいいんじゃないのか？
Or if someone like the coach. Then she'd be in the same position as Rika-chan, and she could go back to her old wife.
ところがそうはいかないの。だっておじだって保護者のつもりなんだもん。
Yeah, the thing is, with Rika, all her relatives are pretty much dead, her immediate family at least, so... But her uncle is still around.
ちょっと待て。わけがわからなくなったぞ。そもそも保護者ってなんだ？
In Rika terms, a guardian and a parent weren't necessarily synonyms, so whoever was actually looking after her at home would be considered her guardian.
ならおじは保護者じゃないな。ずっとサトコをほったらかしにしてた。
Well, not in legal terms.
でも保護者だと主張されたらそれまでだよ。サトコが連れ戻されてから数日、その間の食事代はおじの財布から出てるよね。一応面倒を見てると主張できなくもない。それに1年間サトコをほったらかしたとはいえ、最初の1年間は生活の面倒を見た実績がある。でも村長にはその実績はない。
意地悪なおじさんと村長さんが同時に保護者を主張したら、おじさんの方が強いってこと。
その可能性が高いってこと。それに保護者ってのは実際に面倒を見てる人を指すんだよ。実際に寝床や食事を握ってるおじと名義だけ貸そうとしてる村長じゃどうにもならない。
じゃあ村長が実際に生活の面倒を見ればいいじゃないか。そうすれば名実ともに村長が保護者になれるんだろう。
Think the uncle's gonna let her go? We just needed to shelter Sadako. That might lead to her uncle being desperate to take her back, but we'll stubbornly refuse him.
そんな簡単にはいかないよ。サトコは育ち盛りの女の子なんだよ。人間一人の面倒を見てくださいなんて猫の子預けるのとはわけが違う。
じゃあ監督はどうだよ。監督ってよくは知らないけど裕福なんだろ。自分で言ってたくらいなんだし、本当の親でなくても保護者になれるなら監督でも可能なんだ。監督ならサトコの面倒を立派に見てくれる気がする。
だからサトコをペットみたいに考えないでって。ケイちゃんはさっきからサトコを誰かに押し付ける話ばっかり。人間一人の生活の面倒を見る責任ってものをもっと慎重に考えて。監督に聞いたの。サトコを引き取って面倒を見るってちゃんと確約を得たわけ？
そんなの得てないよ。でも監督なら絶対に OK するだろ
う。まあいいよ。100歩譲って監督が OK したとするよ。でもダメなんだよ。保護者は独身じゃダメなんだよ。
Ugh, that's right. Coach, didn't he say himself? He was alone, so he couldn't do it. Shit! What the hell? Why is being single such a disadvantage in the society? Then all you could do was marry into a lovely family, couldn't you?
ひなみ沢にそんなお金持ちはいるのかな。難しそう
ね。簡単じゃないんだよ。人間一人引き取るってのは。誰かに押し付けようなんて短絡的な考えがそもそもダメなの。考えが浅いんだよ、ケイちゃんは。
なんなんだよ、チクショーチクショー。俺は必死に貞子を救おうと考えてるのに、ダメだってそればっかり。お前ら本当は貞子のことなんかどうでもいいんだろ。仲間のこと本気で心配してないんだろ。どうなんだよ。
そんなつもりないよ。でもそう簡単にはいかないっていうか。
It's a fuck situation, just all around.
そんな難しい話じゃねえだろ。裕福な奴が貞子をしばらく面倒見てくれればいい、それだけのことだぞ。そうだ、ミオンチはどうだよ。お前御三家とかいう立派な家柄なんだって自慢してたよな。話じゃものすごいでかい家に住んでるそうじゃないか。
うち無理、そんなのバチャが許してくれるはずない。
じゃあ沖宮に住んでる親はどうだよ。聞いた話じゃこっちもかなりの豪邸に住んでるらしいじゃないか。町には親類の経営する店がたくさんあるそうだし、立派な資産家じゃないかよ、おい。
I mean, Keshi does have a good point.
ダメ沖宮の家なんてもっとダメ。うちのお父さんそんなの絶対に許さない。
おい、普段は散々大物ぶりを自慢しといて、ここ一番で及び腰かよ。なんなんだよお前、貞子を見殺しにする気かよ。
そんなつもりはないけど、そりゃ私だって貞子は助けてやりたいよ。でもそれとこれじゃ話が
違うってのかよ。冷てえやつ、仲間の危機だろ。ここで救わなかったら何なんだよ。部長だろ、部活の救えよ、仲間の危機をよ。今ここで救わなかったら仲間じゃねえ、人じゃねえ。お前の人間性が問われてるんだよ。聞いてるのかよ、ミオン。
Shit. My emotions all exploded out of me, and I didn't even get her a chance to say anything in response. Just wanted to make Mion agree with me, even if I had to force her. If she did, Sadako's problems would be solved. If pushing her would solve the issue, then I'd push her as much as I needed to.
何さっきから黙り込んでんだよ。聞いてるのかこの野郎。どうなんだよ、なんとか言ってるよ、園崎ミオン。
みー、
Oh, fuck. Mion, looking down with a grim face, began sobbing. Her hands were clutched in trembling fists, and she rolled her eyes to wipe away the tears. Was I said actually that meaning? This isn't a time to cry. We're in the gambling room now, and we have to do something to save Sadako. And as I thought that when I spoke, her voice cold and incredibly calm.
ケイチくん、みーちゃんちがダメなら他の裕福な家を探したら。私、ひなみ沢に立派な豪邸建てて住んでる人知ってるよ。
誰だよ。
白々しいよ。あれだけ立派な家に住んでて、自分の家だけは蚊帳の外。
俺んちかよ。俺の家は
仲間なんでしょ。救ってよ、ケイチくんが。
Oh shit.
みーちゃんはダメだってさ、冷たいから。じゃあ仲間思いのケイチくんがお手本示さなきゃダメだね。あれだけ大きなお家に家族3人で住んでるんだっけ。じゃあ空き部屋なんかいくらでもあるよね。余ってるお部屋いくつかさとこちゃんに分けてあげればいいじゃない。それでめでたくさとこちゃんの悩みは解決。あら何？これでもう終わり？あっけない話だったね。はいはい、解決、お疲れ様。
Fuck.
じゃあもう今日はいい？
God damn, Rena. Fucking shutting Kechi down like that.
久しぶりに宝探しにでも行こうかな。昨日まではずっとさとこちゃんのことが心配で全然遊ぶ気になんかならなかったし、今日はどんな宝物が見つかるかな。はうなんか言ってよ。私だけ喋りずくめ。黙ってんじゃないわよ。聞いてんの？前原圭一。
Even the cicadas seemed to cower in fear. Runner, her shoulders bobbing up and down, and me, who had forgotten to believe. Mian, whose face had gone completely pale, and Wika-chan, who was keeping silent as if nothing had happened. The atmosphere in the classroom grew tight and stiff, and it petrified us where we stood. Rattle. The sound of the chairs is when they sat back down after having stood up, finally allowed everyone present to take a breath. Ruena had showed me just how much I'd hurt Mian.
レナが怖いのです。
After a few moments, Wika-chan cut into the frozen air.
ごめんねリカちゃん。みーちゃんもごめん。圭一くんには謝らなくてもいいよね。
ああ、ごめん。
It's fair enough. It's fair enough.
めちゃくちゃなこと言って悪かった。
さっきのあれ、私に言ってたの？みーちゃん睨みながら言ってたから、私てっきりみーちゃんに言ってるもんだとばかり思ってた。
Ruena had such strength that you wouldn't have imagined it normally. All I did was spout terrible things as a wave of violent fury passed over me. I couldn't contend with her.
ミオ、ごめん。頭に血が上ってた。
Come to think of it, I didn't understand what had gotten me that wild up. I thought of myself as Sadako's Nini. As if I only had good intentions, that I'd think about it a little harder than everyone else, and yet...
うん。いいよ。私こそケイちゃんが一生懸命悩んでるのに、あれはダメこれはダメばっかり言って。ごめんね。私も悪かった。
Mian wiped away the tears at the corner of her eyes with her fist and apologized as well. We bowed our heads to each other and looked down without glancing at the other. Once again, a fucked situation. That's just the truth with any child abuse, really. You can do anything about it, unfortunately, even with, say, child services, and yet they can't do anything without concrete evidence. And once they finally do have concrete evidence, it's far too late. It's truly just a fucking horrible, horrible reality. It's just fucked. Someone, I don't know who, you decide. Sadako being tormented had been known about since last year. How had the tragedy back then saved Sadako? How had they brought it to an end? Right. In the end, nobody could do anything. All they could do was bear it patiently and wait for those agonizing days to end. That's right. The one who brought it an end to his table days was some crazy drug addict nobody knew. And the night of one Higurashi last year, their meat on had been beaten to death. But it had been done to save Sadako Satoshi. Right. It really was just a coincidence. Sadako's friends who needed to do something for her most of all could do nothing. The incident may have been a tragic one, but from Sadako's viewpoint, it was nothing less than a miracle. Yes, a miracle one could only wait for.
待つしかないのかよ。俺たちには。
Not for evidence of abuse, nor for something that minor.
何をかな。
跡。
No one made fun of me for using such a crazy word. We couldn't come up with any solution, so it was the only thing we could do.
無力なんだよ。私たちは。
That one word Mia dropped was the finishing blow. It was hot. My body was sticky with sweat. The worst month, June. Fuck, god damn it, dude. Oh, this fucking chapter. Oh, this is going to be the one. It's going to be the one. Oh, it's going to be the one. It's going to fucking break me. I've said this before, but even now, it's going to do it. I walked forward quite a ways and turned right where the rice fields ended. I'd never come here before, so I had no idea where to go. I got lost several times, so I might as well take a quite long way around. Maybe I should have gone back home and got my bike first. It would have made everyone else worry if I'd asked them, so I asked one of our other classmates where Sadako's actual house was. That house was originally her family's, apparently, not their uncle and her wives. Their house had been bigger, so they had taken it for themselves. Right here. Several houses all in a line. Over there? I was visiting Sadako's house, but didn't particularly intend to meet her there. I didn't mean to spy on the enemy, her mean uncle either. Maybe I just wanted to be a little closer to her, as her Nini. Pretty words, but didn't know if they were true. If what Tomoko-kun, the main menu. If what Tomoko-kun and the others told me was right, it'd be this house. When I recognized it, my feet grew heavy. What did I come here for? My motive for coming here was absurd. When Mion had said at the end that we were powerless, it made me sort of frustrated. I just wanted to do something, anything, other than waste the days away praying for a miracle. That's what made me come here. But that was all. Even if I were to witness her uncle actually tormenting Sadako, what could I do? Would I act like a comic book hero, punch the guy in the face and take Sadako away with me? And then live together somewhere far away? That was ridiculous.
俺は無力だ。
The cicadas' voices raised in chorus sounded like they were scoffing at me. As though they were saying that if I couldn't do anything and wouldn't do anything, then I should go back home. I heard a car approaching, so I got out of its way. But the car stopped right behind me, its horn honking shortly once. Annoyed, hadn't I gotten out of their way? I looked behind me and a familiar face was looking at me out of the driver's seat window.
監督、こんにちは、前原さん。こんなところでお会いするとは本当に奇遇です。
Hey, Eric.
お家は近くなんですか?
Me being here wasn't normal. Just as I considered somehow giving him a slip, I noticed Sadako sitting in the passenger seat.
さとこ
Sadako got out of the car and began unloading a lot of groceries from the trunk.
買い物の帰りに偶然監督にお会いしたんですのよ。送ってくださるというのでお言葉に甘えたのですわ。
自転車でこんなに買い物をしたら運びきれませんからね。
As Coach spoke, he pulled Sadako's bike from out of the backseat where they put it. The grocery bags were big, and there were 4 of them. Jesus. They were all seemed to be packed full and very heavy.
この袋セブンスマート？おいおい、自転車で行くにはちょっと遠すぎないか？
I looked at the bags and saw they were filled to the brim with sake bottles, snacks that you eat with sake, and boxes of cigarettes. Their weight was one thing, but their contents were nothing less than luxury items.
監督のおかげで助かりましたわ。ちょっと坂道は辛かったですから。
Sadako gave Coach a smile filled with gratitude, but it was incredibly awkward and even heart-wrenching.
さとこ、この買い物 今晩の晩飯ってわけじゃないだろう。
当然ですわ。私お酒なんか飲めませんし、おつまみも嫌いですし、タバコなんか吸うわけ。
He made Sadako go to a distant store by herself on her bike, so she could buy dumb shit like this. And what was the uncle doing right now anyway? He must have been working up a good sweat at this very moment if he needed to send Sadako out by herself, right? If not, then how much had Sadako suffered for no reason? I didn't intend to voice my feelings, but they may have made it into my face. Coach might have noticed, but because he clapped me on the shoulder. Just then, one of the house windows clattered open, and the face of a vulgar man, the very sight of which made me immediately avert my eyes, emerged from within it. There were no self-introductions necessary. My gut told me that this was the uncle in question. The first thing out of his mouth should have been words of gratitude for Sadako.
Satoko! 缶のガスかけっぱなしで出よったんな、この。
ごめんなさい。でもすぐに買いに行けって言ったから。
やかましいわ。せっかくの銀条台無しにしよってん。どうしよってんじゃ。
ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい、ごめんなさい。
Sadako miserably apologized over and over, bowing again and again. She could be perfectly described as a small animal. I had no idea what was happening. Sadako finished shopping for all this heavy stuff that wasn't even for dinner. She only managed to come back because she ran into Coach and he drove her home. If she hadn't been found by him, she'd surely still be by herself, panting and moaning, pedaling her bicycle up that steep hill. What was with those words, those horrible, sleazy words that he said to Sadako? In what country's dictionary did it tell him to say such things to a young girl who just finished shopping? My anger, of course, wouldn't reach him. The uncle displayed no interest in me, instead shouting at the coach.
おや、入江の先生じゃないですか。こんにちは。つったら先生も上がっていきますか。もうオーラスですからすぐ入れますよ。ピンのワンツー、何でもありで。
いえ、遠慮します。さとこちゃんとは偶然お会いしたんで、ちょっとお送りしてあげただけです。すぐに失礼します。
そんな、ちょっとぐらいやってってくださいな。先生お金持ちじゃないですか。
I didn't even understand what her uncle and coach were talking about, but I knew one thing for sure. None of what he just said had been to thank Sadako in any way.
さとこ、とっととカキも持ってこんかい。ビールも冷めてもうた。冷蔵庫から冷えてるの出してくれな。
てっちゃん、娘に厳しすぎや。もうちょい言いたわらんとかいそうやで。
あんな娘にゃこのくらいでちょうどいいよ。兄貴んちにいた頃からそうでよ。甘やかすと親の言うことをなんも聞かんやっちゃよ。た
それよか、てっちゃんの妻だぜよ。
椿さんリーチしよったで。
おう、悪い悪い。なんね、椿あんたまたリーチかいな。
It looked like it wasn't just her uncle. Some of his friends were over. Hey, wait. What was he... No, what were they doing? Flinging wooed words left and right, making Sadako go shopping for your beer? What were they doing?
町からおじさまのお友達が来てて宴会やってますの。お友達のお夕食もご用意するように言われてますのよ。
Jesus.
なんだよそれ。
Mahjong? He called his friends over for Mahjong. They were too busy playing, so they sent Sadako to buy them a crapload of booze from a faraway store, and the first thing he said to her was how she left the gas on? What the hell? What the hell? What the hell?
何やってんだよあいつ。 麻雀って、そんなのに遊びほうけて、さとこにこんなのを買いに行かせるのかよ。
Even though Coach was listening, he pretended he wasn't. There's a line of heavy-looking shopping bags lined up on the ground next to the truck.
さあ、前原さんも手伝ってあげてください。ほら、男の子なんですから、こっちの。
監督、こんなのまかり通っていいんですか。こんなの絶対に。
Coach pretended he hadn't heard that violent outburst either. When I thought about it later, his reaction might have been the best thing he could do in that situation.
私も2つ持ちますから。ほら、前原さんも持つのを手伝ってあげてください。
The bags were packed to the brim with bottles of sake and bar snacks. They were so heavy and so filthy, so unfair. They weren't just heavy in terms of weight. They made me feel mortified. Nothing could have been heavier than that.
ケイチさん、大丈夫ですのよ。自分で持ちますわ。
Sadako mistook my biting back the humiliation as grimacing under the weight and offered to help.
バカ、俺をなめるな。
Sadako had never looked down on my physical strength in the slightest.
監督もすみませんわね。
Fuck.
重いでしょ？
No, not at all, answered Coach, smiling vaguely, coolly. But I alone knew. Coach was an adult, so he just knew how to keep his feelings from showing. There was even more anger than I was feeling burning deep in his eyes.
いや、重いですね。
Shit. It wasn't very far to the doorsteps of Sadako's house, but the bag squeezed my palms and started leaving red marks. Fury welled up in me and the back of my throat stung. But even if it all came gushing out, it wouldn't solve anything. So, just tightly gritting my teeth was as much as I could do.
本当にありがとうございますですわ。監督もケイチさんも。おかげで本当に助かりましたでございます。
After we carried them to the back door, Sadako said that was enough. Occasionally, we'd hear the repulsive laughter of her uncle and her friends from within, and my insides would seethe. I knew they weren't ridiculing us, and that was why it made me so mad. They made Sadako shop for all this heavy, selfish stuff and ignored her and laughed amongst themselves as they pleased. It was deeply aggravating. Of course, Coach had to have felt the same way. But if he accidentally let his feelings slip into his face, it only caused Sadako more worry. He knew all of that and spoke coolly, as if to say he didn't care.
いいえ。ささやかでもお力になれたなら幸いです。お手伝いできそうなことがあったらいつでも言ってくださいね。
ええ。お気持ちだけでも本当に嬉しいですわ。
That he feels that way. Those words were sad. Sadako herself was sad and resigned that we could only help her so much. But she was right. No matter how much Coach or I wanted to help Sadako, this was as much as we could do. I felt absolutely ashamed at not having the power to help her any more than this. Burning, boiling emotions were bubbling up within me and rising into my throat. Trembling all over, I almost started to cry from my fury.
俺も力になれることがあったらいつでも力を貸すから。頑張れよな。
I wanted to at least give her those trite words saying that I help her whenever she wanted.
ええ、ありがとうございますわ。わざわざこうしてここまで来てくださっただけでも嬉しかったですわ。
Sadako seemed to have guessed what I was doing in a place like this, when my house was in the opposite direction from school.
さあ、もう行った方がよろしいですわ。今は酔っ払ってますから、どんな難癖をつけられるかわかりませんわよ。
She felt guilty getting us involved after we helped her, because she wanted to be the only one to suffer this misfortune. That's how it worked, and it hurt. I handed my supermarket bag over to Sadako, and then I noticed on the back of Sadako's hand, there was something that looked like a bruise.
おいサトコ、お前まだ熱が。
I know as much as anyone else how transparent that sounded. I didn't need to hear it from Sadako to know how this bruise came to be.
今年の夏風邪はなかなかしつこいようですわね。
Fuck. God damn it.
気になさらないでくださいませ。
God damn it.
嘘だろ。
Coach nudged me in the back. And then he put his index finger to his mouth to chide me for being so loud.
本当にありがとうございましたですわ。では明日、学校でお会いできるといいですわね。
そんな話してないだろ。その手のあざはどうしたって聞いてるんだよ。
The evening glow finally got to a point where I could see the other concealed over-shaped bruises and traces of swelling on her neck, in her legs, and other places too.
階段から落ちたんですのよ。
The very moment my violent rampaging emotions were about to burst their way on my throat, I found my mouth being tightly clamped down on. Coach was pressing down on my mouth from behind, wrapping around me tightly with his hands. Because of that, I couldn't say anything. I could only groan, which I did. That was all I could do. I needed to expel all the magma sitting deep within me, because otherwise I'd surely explode into a million pieces that very moment. So I groaned from my mouth, from my whole body, while heat fell in drops from my eyes. I groaned and groaned, I groaned to the point of exhaustion. I wrung absolutely everything out of myself. Even having lost my voice, I was still wringing it all out.
気持ちはわかります。わかりますから前原さん。今だけこらえてください。お願いですから、前原さん。
Endure it for now? And then what, huh? What would happen to her, to Sadako? Her body and mind were wounded and she was being made to suffer like this. Can you not even let me howl in vain at it? Is that it, Coach? Are we this powerless, so powerless that we can't even fucking scream from the bottom of our hearts? The voices of the Higurashi made me calm down. I didn't know how long it had been. Sadako abruptly gave a slight wow.
ありがとうございますですわ、ケイチさん。
サトコ。
今、ケイチさんが本当のニーニーみたいに見えました。私の本当のニーニー私にはケイチさんというニーニーがいてくれる。
そうだ。 俺がお前のニーニーだ。お前が辛い時絶対に助けてやるから。ニーニーがサトコをきっと助けてやるからな。
Satoshi Hojo, you fucking idiot. If not now, then when? Sadako, she'd never been in more pain in her life. If her Nini doesn't even save her now, then when will he? Why did you run away? Why did you abandon her? Why did you leave Sadako behind? You don't have any right to call yourself Sadako's Nini.
俺は逃げないからな。絶対に逃げない。サトシみたいにお前を見捨てて逃げたりしない。絶対に俺はお前を見捨てない。
Sip. Tears trickled down from Sadako's eyes. And then she narrowed her eyes into a smile.
さよなら。ニーニー。
Sadako took her right hand and awkwardly waved to me.
大丈夫ですわ。今のニーニーので私いっぱい力をもらいましたから。大丈夫。明日まで頑張れますから。大丈夫だからね。今日はさよならでございますわよ。
There was no way that it could say bye, see you tomorrow. And then from inside the house came a throaty, disgusting voice.
サトコ、はよ乾きも持ってこんかい。
さあ、ニーニー。
Damn it.
早く行ってくださいませ。もう私は大丈夫ですから。早く。
行きましょう、前原さん。これ以上はかえって聡子ちゃんに迷惑をかけます。
監督、ニーニーのお家はちょっと遠いんですの。申し訳ございませんが送ってあげていただけます？
ええ、わかりました。
Coach grabbed me by my collar, and with strength I couldn't have imagined him having, started dragging me away. And I, unable to oppose him, started getting farther away from Sadako. She waved her hand at us, expression still dark, and disappeared through the back door. Coach got into the car first, then turned around on the narrow path and brought the passenger side door around for me.
前原さんの気持ちは痛いくらいにわかります。いえ、前原さん以上にわかるつもりです。でも今この場だけはこらえてください。あなたの心は確かに伝わりましたから。だからこらえてください。でないと。
もう分かってます。すみません。さっきはありがとうございました。
I meekly got into the passenger seat. The car accelerated quietly, and Sadako's house grew farther and farther away into the view mirror. We made a wide turn, and then I couldn't see her house anymore.
え？あなたのお家そんな遠くなんですか？学校の反対側じゃないですか。
I didn't bother to reply. It would have been hard pressed to give him an answer as to why it was at Sadako's house. Coach didn't say anything more either. For a while, the two of us were silent. the only sounds from the gravel spraying over the road as we drove. I remembered how Lena said things were different than last year. At the time, she had Satoshi with her. Satoshi protected Sadako, so that less of the sparks fell onto her.
でも今はサトシはいない。
はい。残酷ですが、それが事実です。
Coach seemed to understand what I really meant when I said that.
悲しく、あまりに残酷な話ですが、私たちの決意や努力、尽力には限界があります。
It sounded like an excuse, but he was right. Even if Coach and I wanted to be people Sadako could depend on, that was all. It ended at the front door. No matter how much I shouted that I would be her Nini, no matter how much I shouted that I wouldn't abandon her, and no matter how much Sadako called me Nini, I couldn't do any more than that.
サトシは一体どこに行っちまったんですか？
Right, Satoshi was another story. Her actual brother Satoshi, he was in a position to protect her far, far better than we ever could. That was the cold, sad truth of the massive gulf between Satoshi and us.
今頃、どこでどうしているんでしょう。
Satoshi left home. I don't know why. Maybe it was because of Oshiro-sama's curse, or he disappeared, or something. In any case, he wasn't beside Sadako now. At the time Sadako needed him to protect her most, he wasn't here.
どうして今ここにいないんですか？一番守ってやらなければならないこの時に。
お社様のたたりがどうとかいろいろ言われてますが、家出したとしか言えません。
ある日を境に帰ってこないって仲間が言ってました。
Why did he just run?
妹の聡子に書き置き一つ残さずに家出を。
サトシ君はコツコツとアルバイトをしてたんです。サトコちゃんが当時とても大きなぬいぐるみを欲しがってましてね。結構いい値段らしくて、そのためにアルバイトをいろいろとしていたらしいんです。妹思いの兄でしたからね。おじ夫婦のもとで不憫な生活を強いられている妹に少しでも立派な誕生日プレゼントを贈ろうとしているんじゃないかってみんなささやき合っていました。
In the end, he didn't use his savings for a birthday present for Sadako.
サトシ君がいなくなり、警察がいろいろと調べたら、サトシ君の貯金が当日すべて本人によって下ろされていることが分かりました。
Himself.
方々をいろいろと調べた結果、その貯金を資金に東京の方に行ったんではないかということになりました。
東京？何しに？
家出としか言いようがないじゃないですか。
自分が逃げ出すための資金をコツコツと貯めて、そこまでは勝手ですよ。でも聡子を置いてくことはないじゃないですか。同じ家出するなら聡子も連れて行くべきだった。
Even now, Coach was still calm. He wasn't trying to pour any oil on the fire of my anger at all. He just waited until my anger naturally subsided. After listening to gravel being crushed under the wheels for a little while, Coach spoke abruptly.
察してください。置いていかれた聡子ちゃんも同じ考えに至ったんです。
I'm a burden on my brother, and that's why he abandoned me. He didn't take her with him when he left. How terrible Masako felt being betrayed by the brother she loved so much.
でも聡子ちゃんはとても強い人でした。もちろん親しい友人たちの支えもあってのことでしたが、ああして笑顔を取り戻すことができました。
I recalled how Sadako had spoken of Satoshi so brightly when I was eating dinner with her in Rika-chan a few days ago. At the time, I didn't think any more of it than how present their sibling love had been. But now that I did think about it, I realized it was like she was peering into the distance from atop a pile of tragic perseverance.
サトシ君はきっと帰ってくる。その時までにお荷物じゃなくなった自分を見てほしいって。
サトコはお荷物なんかじゃないですよ。あいつ俺なんかよりよっぽど生活力はあるし、大抵のことは何だってできる。そりゃレナやリカちゃんなんかと比べれば劣る点はたくさんあるかもしれないけど、そこいらのやつよりよっぽど一人前ですよ。
サトシ君がいつ帰ってきてもいいように、そういう風になれるよう努力した結果です。涙ぐましい努力があったんですよ。
Well, she lived with Rika-chan. Well, Rika-chan taught her how to handle everything flawlessly, all so that she could welcome back Satoshi at any time, so that she could show him she wasn't ashamed.
で、そのサトシはいつ帰ってくるんですか？
I asked Coach, but he knew he wouldn't be able to answer. In any case, Satoshi ran away. He left Sadako and ran away from Himizawa. Someone said that when you leave Himizawa and went away, Oshiro-sama's curse gets you right. Then that made sense. Satoshi running away and his disappearance. It would obviously mean people thought it was the curse, right? And they could smile, as though it was his own fault, as though he got what he deserved. Hey Oshiro-sama, whoever you are, Satoshi didn't vanish because he ran away. You demoned him away with your curse, didn't you? If that's not what happened, then I won't forgive you.
サトシはいつ頃逃げ出したんですか？
去年の綿流しのお祭りの夜、おばが異常者に殺されて、その数日後のサトコちゃんの誕生日にです。
Stop, 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 stop. Stop. Fucking stop. Don't. God damn it.
サトコの誕生日に？
Bang. I slammed my hands on the dashboard in front of me with all my might. Satoshi, of all the days he could have chosen to run away. Their aunt just died a few days before, didn't she? All your days of suffering were about to end, weren't they? You were just about to start thinking about a new wife, weren't you? It's wrong to be happy about someone dying, but for Sadako and her brother, her birthday had come at a critical turning point. Their mean uncle had fled town and the siblings would be left alone. They should have been able to be happy about that. On Sadako's birthday, Sadako was probably waiting for her brother to return the whole time. Waiting for her brother to return when he never did. Waiting with bated breath for her brother to return, her hopes and dreams of a new life to come grow ever larger. But no matter how long she waited, he didn't come back. He didn't even contact her. Sadako trembling in anticipation of a great present. Just when would she have to face the cold, terrible truth? Satoshi, you fucking idiot. I could feel my blood rising to my head in my anger at Satoshi. I was frustrated. I was aggravated. I couldn't forgive him. Sadako still respected and adored her brother, and yet he so heartlessly betrayed her. Such a person wouldn't just come back now when he was most needed. Yes, no one would protect her. Not even her real brother, Satoshi.
だから、あなたがニーニーだと認めてもらえて嬉しかったです。
え？
私もサトコちゃんの幸せを祈る一人ですが、社会的立場があり、日中は仕事をしている身です。私がサトコちゃんのために割いてあげられる時間は少ない。でもあなたは違います。学校で生活を共にし、サトコちゃんやサトシ君とも年はほとんど離れていない。あなたは自分ができることに限りがあると思っていますが、それでも私よりはずっとサトコちゃんに手を差し伸べられる場所にいるのです。だから 私の分まで聡子ちゃんの力になってあげてほしい、そう願っています。
そんなことは監督だって。
もちろん年季のある私だからこそできる助けだっていろいろあると思います。同じようにあなたにしかできない助けだってあるということです。私たちは互いにそれを全うすべきだと申し上げたいのです。
Is that a little too complicated? Coach added that, but I shook my head in response. When I heard him say he had job skills, it reminded me that he was an adult in a different position from all of us. Maybe I should ask him about it.
監督は法律とか詳しいですか？
いえ、平均的に疎いですが、何か。
I thought back to when I argued with Mia and the others about Sadako. Our children's argument had only left us with the conclusion that we had to wait and see, but what would an adult think?
児童福祉法でしたっけ。児童の安全を確保するために緊急措置として親子を分離させるという方法があるそうです。
緊急措置？じゃあすぐに聡子をおじの元から救い出せるということじゃないですか。
We need evidence, though.
聡子ちゃんがそれを望まないかもしれません。
聡子が望まない？どうして？
Coach didn't answer me. I didn't know why he didn't. It was clear as day that Sadako's uncle was being violent and treating her like a slave. So then why? I cramped down on my frenzied emotions and waited intently for Coach to answer. But he never did. It wasn't like he was pretending he hadn't heard me. If I had to say, it was more like he wanted to explain but couldn't put it into the right words.
聡子ちゃんは多分そういう仕打ちに耐えるのを試練だと考えているかもしれません。
試練？変な宗教じゃあるまいし。
ご存知と思いますが、サトシ君は聡子ちゃんをずっとかばってきました。聡子ちゃんもずっとサトシ君に頼ってきました。甘えてきたと言うべきかもしれません。
She thinks that she deserves us. That she needs to please her uncle so that she can feel like she wants to be just validated. She wants to be independent. She wants to be helpful. I'd known for a while that Satoshi had always protected Sadako from their aunt and uncle, but that was his duty as an older brother, not something to worry about.
それがトラウマになったかもしれないんですよ。自分が兄にもたれかかりすぎたから、兄が自分を嫌ってしまったんではないかってね。
And for Sadako, the current situation was retelling the story of a little over a year ago. But this time Satoshi wasn't here.
だから誰にも頼らずに自分の力だけで試練を乗り越えたい。そういう力を身につけなければサトシ君は帰ってこない。そういう考えになっていると私は考えます。
Now that he mentioned it, Sadako had never said a word about how hard it had been before. I figured she was being frightened not to talk about it, but
みんなと相談して児童相談所とかに通報すべきかなんて話をしてました。
聞いてますよね。昨年も福祉士さんが聡子ちゃんのところに行ってるのは。
はい。結局様子見で余計にいじめられたって話も。
あれ、聡子ちゃんが自分で通報したらしいんです。で、その結果、余計いじめが水面下へ移行してエスカレートした。
Jesus.
聡子ちゃんに降りかかるいじめも増え、 それをかばうサトシ君の負担も著しく増えた。
ひょっとしてサトコ、それ通報した自分の責任だなんて思ってるんじゃ。
Coach nodded quietly.
多分サトコちゃんに通報の話をするととても嫌がるか、その必要はないと強がりを言うと思います。サトコちゃんに内緒で通報したとしても、福祉士に対して自分は虐待を受けていないと言い張るでしょうね。
She just doesn't want to be a burden. Sadako always acts tough and doesn't readily admit defeat, so I can imagine that easily.
一応児童相談所には裁判所の許可も当事者の許可も一切不要で緊急措置ができる強い権限があるんだそうです。虐待が公然の事実なら、聡子ちゃんが否定しても身柄は強制的に保護されるでしょう。それは聡子ちゃんにとっては負けを意味するものなのかもしれませんが。
勝ち負けの問題じゃないですよ。聡子は現実に。
話を折りますが、身柄が保護されると所定の施設に送致されます。そうするとですね、そこで暮らすことになるので、つまり引っ越しということになります。ですから学区変更で転校にもなります。
転校は仕方ないです。それであいつが保護されるなら。
聡子ちゃんはその辺の事情も知っています。だからますます保護を望みません。
どうして？
あの家でサトシ君の帰りを待つのが聡子ちゃんの生きる理由でもあります。兄に捨てられた少女が何に生きる理由を見出したか、あなたのでなく聡子ちゃんの価値観で考えてあげてください。
うん。
I felt like he was trying to confuse me with that hard to understand roundabout way of talking so unique to adults. The point was that I couldn't do anything about Sadako wanting to stay in that house, and that I should watch until she gives in. In the end, no matter what I said, Coach himself was saying to wait and see.
俺は分かりませんよ。
はい。
俺は本当に聡子が危ないと感じたら誰の意思も聞かずに行動します。その結果、聡子は不快な思いをして俺を恨むことがあるかもしれないけど、最終的にはそれが聡子の幸せにつながると信じます。
Coach turned to me and gazed fixedly into my eyes. It was written all over his face. He was shocked at what such a young kid had said.
どうしてあなたはそこまで。
Coach, no, other normal adults might not have understood. So I taught him the creed and the values that I believed in.
聡子は俺の仲間だから。そして俺は聡子のニーニーだから。では理由は足りませんか？
I stared at him with a will strong and unbreakable as steel, as his eyes betrayed a tiny bit of
い
unrest.
え、足りないなんてことはありません。
We were silent for a little while, until finally Coach almost said only that.
誓ったじゃないですか、俺たち。
すみません。
聡子を絶対に泣かせないって。
We made a vow on that day of the barbecue party. I didn't think about it hard at all, but Coach and I still made a promise that we wouldn't ever let Sadako cry. Coach gave a dry grin of regret, immediately apologizing for not remembering. One way or another, when he grinned like that, it made me think that his enthusiasm for saving Sadako was a tiny bit smaller than mine. He lightly hit the brakes, making a skidding noise, and my whole body suddenly fell forward.
ひょっとして前原さんのお家ってあれですか？ああ、前原屋敷が前原さんのお家だったんですね。
Before I knew it, we were almost to my house. I mean, what can I say? Like, I haven't talked at all, pretty much, this entire episode because I mean, I can't put, like, I can't do any commentary. I have no words to express. This was, Jesus Christ, this was fucking heart-wrenching. Like, fuck, my God, dude. It's fucking painful, dude. It truly is. The thing that's so different from the other chapters is just how real this is. How just fucked up it truly is, and shit actually happens like this, and just, God, it's always the fucking worst. I listen to like case files on YouTube or stuff, like watch disturbing cases on, you know, YouTube, just curiosity's sakes, and it's always the child abuse cases that get to me. They will always get to me, cause Jesus fucking Christ. It's both sad and fucking anger-inducing. And that fucking sprite of Sadako's, Jesus Christ. Just how fucking... just fucking gut-munching it is. If you guys enjoy this type of content, hit the subscribe button. If you liked it, hit the like button. Want to tell me something, put it down in the comments below. Want to check out the Discord server I hang out in, or my Twitter, check the description below. And this has been Voidlego. I'll see you guys next time. See ya.